So I've been using the Amex Gold Card for 5 years now, and I just paid the $325 annual fee to renew it again. So that means I've now paid a combined total of $1,650 over the past 5 years for this one card alone. Now, when most people hear that amount, they probably think, why on earth would anyone pay that much for some credit card when there's so many other cheaper ones out there? And I completely get that, but the truth is that for the right person, that $325 annual cost is really just a small upfront investment that can very likely be regained many times over with all the features and benefits you get here. Like any credit card though, the value from the Amex Gold is going to be very subjective and based on your own spending habits and how this card's used. So in this video, I want to go over all the ins and the outs that I've learned about the American Express Gold Card after having it in my wallet for half a decade now, but I also want to call out a couple of big problems that I think this card's currently facing, as well as some other important things that can really make or break whether it's truly worth it for you. Now, the first thing we got to talk about here is going to be the welcome bonus, because the value from a good bonus can be enough to potentially cover your annual fee for multiple years by itself. And so over on the American Express website, you can see that it says apply and find out your welcome offer. And then below that, it says as high as 100,000 membership rewards points after you spend $6,000 within the first 6 months. However, they also mention that welcome offers may vary and you may not be eligible for an offer. And that's because American Express likes to sort of personalize the bonuses they might be willing to give you based on your history with them, as well as a bunch of other factors. Essentially, by using vague language like as high as 100,000 points and welcome offers may vary, they're able to have hyper-targeted sign-up bonuses that can adjust from person to person according to Amex's own internal systems. And those systems are pretty much designed with the goal in mind of getting more people to sign up for a card while hopefully paying out only just enough in sign-up bonuses, but not too much. Now, as someone who settled on a bonus of only 60,000 points when I applied for the Amex Gold, which probably wasn't as high as I could have gotten at the time, my advice here is to be patient. Know the best bonuses that are out there that other people are getting by just doing a few minutes of research online before you apply, and then only accept a welcome offer if you know that it's going to be competitive based on the research that you did. As always, your mileage may vary with this stuff, but what's good here with American Express is that they do give you the option to apply and then see if you're approved and find out what offer they'll give you. And then you could decide if you want to accept that offer or just pass without any effect on your credit score. But let's say you were able to take advantage of 100,000 point offer, because that's going to be the best deal we're seeing right now on the Amex Gold. So those points are going to be worth at least 1 cent per point for things like flights that you book inside the Amex travel portal, which is how most beginners seem to redeem their points with this card. That redemption rate makes a 100,000 point bonus equal to $1,000 in value in year one with this card. So that's going to be enough to effectively cover the cost of the $325 annual fee for a little over 3 years. However, to me and other people out there who would like to optimize our point redemptions by transferring to airline and hotel programs to get closer to at least 2 cents per point for travel, 100,000 points is going to be worth closer to at least $2,000 in value, which is going to cover the cost of that annual fee for over 6 years. Now, because you could effectively double or sometimes even triple or quadruple the value of your points just by learning how to transfer the right way to book things versus booking in a travel portal, what I'm going to say next here is something that I really wanted to mention very early on in this video, because I do think it's going to be a very important factor when deciding if this card is going to be worth it for you. So what I want to say is that if you want to get the most out of having the Amex Gold, you cannot be redeeming your points for statement credits, gift cards, or even travel book through Amex. But instead, you have to understand, or at least be willing to learn how to redeem your points for more value by transferring them. Knowing how to double the value of my Amex points that I continue to earn from the spending multipliers on the gold card that I'm going to talk about next year, that's really been a key factor that just keeps me renewing my annual fee year after year, despite the cost of that fee. So it's not only the value of, that's why whenever I'm on the road, I've always got proper high quality luggage with me that makes packing for my trips feel effortless. And what I've loved using is my awesome suitcase from Away, who I'm excited to say is sponsoring this video. Now, this suitcase here is called the Bigger Carry-On in Jet Black, and the reason why I love it is because it lets me maximize every single inch of packing space inside it with Away's signature patented interior compression system. This system here has a double buckle compression pad and a bunch of interior pockets for storing any other items I have to bring with me when I'm traveling. And this thing just feels great whenever I'm navigating through an airport with its super smooth 360 degrees wheels. Now, what also makes me feel really good about using luggage from Away is that every one of their suitcases goes through a rigorous process of 30 plus tests. So they're checking checking out things like how those wheels are working, how the outer shell is holding up, and even how their zippers move and other stuff like that. To me, I love to hear this because I've actually had issues in the past with cheap luggage where the zipper broke as I was repacking to come home from a trip. So obviously that's never something I want to even have to think about because I just want my luggage to look good and work like it's supposed to, and Away suitcases are going to easily check both those boxes. A was also recently able to send me their large toiletry bag in jet black as well that I have right here. So I'm going to be excited to try this one out, and I'm actually going to be bringing this toiletry bag and suitcase combination with me as I head up to New York City for a quick trip later this week that I'll probably get back from right before this video gets uploaded. Now is also a good time to mention that with the holiday season coming up, Away makes the perfect gifts to give someone else, or just to treat yourself to if you're a traveler like me and you're looking to upgrade what you bring with you. Away is going to be having their biggest sales of the year during the holiday season, where you can shop their savings and take advantage of some great deals. So make sure to go ahead and check out the link that I'll have down below in the description to this video, or you can scan the QR code on the screen right now to shop Away's biggest sales of the year to find the perfect gift. And thank you again to Away for sponsoring this video. Now back to the Amex Gold, where I want to talk about the spending multipliers next here. So the multipliers on this card are going to be great for food expenses because you're going to be able to earn 4x points at restaurants worldwide on up to 50K in purchases per calendar year, as well as 4x points on groceries at US supermarkets on up to 25K in purchases per calendar year. There's also a couple other less talked about multipliers like 3x points on flights booked directly with airlines or on amsrevel.com, and then 2x points on prepaid hotels and other eligible travel booked through MX Travel. But to me, it's really going to be all about the 4x points on restaurants and supermarkets that are the big selling points for this card that have made it a staple in my wallet over the years. That's because for my wife and I, food spending is going to be our largest area of our budget after housing costs. So we budget around $800 per month for groceries and around $400 per month for dining out. Now there's some months when we're over those amounts and then others where we're under, but I can sort of estimate that we're going to spend around $1,200 on combined food categories over the course of an average month, which is going to be $14,400 per year. At 4x points per dollar, that equals $57,600. AMX points annually that we're expecting to earn from the gold card when it's used consistently. And at a minimum value of 2 cents per point, that's going to get us $1,152 in travel value every single year. Again, by just optimizing how we're redeeming with transfer partners. So when you add up those points earned from the welcome bonus in year one, along with the points earned every year from the spending multipliers, and then you factor in how you're redeeming those points for the higher upside by transferring them, that's going to potentially bring a lot of value back to some people for paying that $325 annual fee. However, there's also a ton of annual credits that you get as well here on the gold card that can effectively help you to reduce your net out-of-pocket cost each year. So if any of these credits fit well into your normal spending habits, then the MX Gold is going to become more and more worth it, in my experience. Now, over on the American Express website, you're going to see that they're advertising over $500 in value annually with the following benefits on this card. And those are going to be a Resy credit, Uber Cash, something MX is called the Hotel Collection, a Dunkin credit, and a dining credit. So if we go ahead and scroll down on their website, the first thing they list is $120 of Uber Cash, where you're going to get $10 each month to use on orders and rides in the US. And here's the key thing where you have to make sure that an MX card is selected for the Uber transaction. So basically all you got to do to activate this is just go over to your Uber account and then add your MX Gold card. And then after that, every month you're going to get $10 of Uber Cash deposited over there. But just make sure you are using that Uber Cash because that $10 is going to disappear at the end of the month if it's unused. Then after that, we've got the $84 Dunkin credit where you can earn up to $7 in monthly statement credits after you pay with your MX Gold at US Dunkin locations. And for this one, enrollment is required. So make sure you do that by actually going to the benefits page for your gold card over in your American Express account. And then you want to enroll in this benefit, which you can see that I've already done for myself. Now, this is also going to be a use it or lose it credit that will not roll over from one month to the next if it goes unused. And one thing I want to point out is that in the terms for this benefit, where they talk about the eligible purchases that are going to trigger this credit, they specifically say that eligible purchases do not include gift cards purchased online. However, if you're reading about this card on places like Reddit, there's plenty of data points out there where people actually do reload the balance of their digital Dunkin card within the Dunkin app that does seem to trigger this credit as of now. So I'm all about playing within the rules that the credit card issuer set, and I guess this this technically is not a gift card, according to the terms right now, which is why I'm mentioning it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the ability to do this goes away at some point in the future. So just keep all this in mind. Next, we got a $100 Resy credit where you can get up to $100 in statement credits each calendar year after you pay with your Amex Gold Card to dine at US Resy restaurants or to make other eligible Resy purchases. And that is going to be split up into $50 in credits from January through June, and then another $50 from July through December. Enrollment is required here as well. So make sure you don't forget to do that over on the benefits page within your account before you actually try using this credit. But for those who aren't really familiar with this, Resy is one of those online restaurant reservation platforms, and it's actually owned by American Express. There's tens of thousands of restaurants that use this platform across the world, and you can actually search around on their website to see what restaurants near you might qualify for this credit. And once you're enrolled for this within your Amex account, it's going to be super easy to use this because all you have to do is just pay with your Amex Gold Card at that Resy restaurant. And Amex is going to be able to recognize that that restaurant is a part of that network with Resy, so that they'll just then post that statement credit to your account. Now, there's also a $120 dining credit to go along with this on the Amex Gold because, again, this is a very food-focused card. So with this one, you can earn up to a total of $10 in statement credits monthly when you pay with your Amex Gold Card at participating partners of GrubHub, Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, and Five Guys. Again, enrollment is going to be required for this credit as well, so make sure you don't forget to do that. And this is going to be another one that is a use it or lose it credit because it is not going to roll over from month to month. Now, to figure out just how much value these credits are going to be giving you to truly help offset the annual fee, you want to ask yourself whether any of these credits are covering things that you would already be spending money on within your normal spending habits, even if you did not have the Amex Gold. So, for example, personally, I go to a ton of Resy restaurants throughout the year, so I value this credit at the full $100 value because it is going to be within my normal spending habits. But with the Dunkin credit, I never really go to Dunkin just because it's personally not where I like to go for coffee or food. I'll still use the Dunkin credit and view it as a nice little extra coupon that I get every single month. But I'm more of a local coffee shop guy, and I like trying out other local coffee shops whenever I'm out traveling. So I'm going to basically value the Dunkin credit at $0 in my life because it's not a place that I'd be going to if I did not have the Amex Gold. But when it comes to how I currently value this card, I get the full $100 back from the Resy credit. Again, I view the Dunkin credit as being worth $0 to me personally. That lowers my effective annual fee on the Gold Card down to around $115 per year at the moment. But then on top of these credits, as well as the points that we're earning and redeeming, there's still going to be a few other things that are worth mentioning here as well that can give you some additional value. So one of those things is called the Hotel Collection that I mentioned before. And basically the Hotel Collection is just going to be a group of hotels that American Express handpicks, which then gives you some extra stuff when you book a stay at one of those through the Annex Travel portal. Some of those benefits include 12 p.m. check-in, a room upgrade, and late checkout, all when available, and then a $100 credit that can go towards eligible charges, which vary by property. However, in order to get any of these extra benefits with the Hotel Collection, you do have to book a stay of 2 nights or more. And I've stayed at a few of these hotels booked through this program over the past couple of years, and I've had good experiences with it. But the value to you is obviously going to depend on where you're traveling to and how much you want to book these properties. One other thing I wanted to mention that really gets overlooked a lot are the Amex offers that you can find within the offers tab at the bottom of your Amex app. And these are great to scroll through every once in a while just to kind of see what savings are out there that you could find at a ton of popular retailers and brands. On my Gold Card alone, I've actually managed to save around $60 over the past year or so from offers that included brands like 1800 Flowers, Lululemon, and even using Apple Pay just a few times. But the one catch here is that you do need to actually remember to go and add these offers to your card in order to use them. There's a few third-party apps and browser extensions out there that I can make a separate video about that I like to use myself for just adding and then keeping track of these offers. But for the average person, I think you can easily estimate that you'll save an additional $20 to $50 or more per year from the offers that you can find on the Gold Card as well. So definitely do not forget about these offers when factoring in whether the annual fee on this card is worth it. Now that's going to bring me to a couple of problems that I wanted to talk about here that I think the Amex Gold is facing right now as we head into 2026. So the first problem is something that I don't really hear people talk about enough, but that would be restaurant search charges on credit cards that are becoming too common these days. You don't really see these search charges with bigger national restaurant chains. But for more local restaurants over the past few years, I've kind of just come to expect that I'm going to see some fine print at the bottom of my bill that says we'll be charging an extra 3% fee for customers who pay with a credit card. Now, personally, I really dislike this. Obviously, even though I do understand it because of the cost to accept credit cards and how they can just eat into a restaurant's thin margins. But I just don't like carrying cash or using a debit card because there's less convenience and less protection there with those payment methods. Now, the good news is that earning 4x points per dollar on the Amex Gold is effectively like earning 8% back if I'm getting 2 cents per point in value. So that's still going to greatly exceed the 3% surcharge. And it's why the Amex Gold is one of the cards that I'd recommend the most for dining out if this card's benefits are going to make sense for you to have it. But that 3% added cost that's there sometimes is something that's a bit hard to account for because it technically is going to eat into your credit card rewards. Even though, again, it's hard to estimate for because you don't have really a perfect way of knowing how often you're going